Now, as you know, there's an event going on right now. It's the consecutive win event. It's kind of a nightmare if you don't have the right decks, or it can be really easy if you do. Now, you only have to hit 5 wins, which sounds really easy on its face, but it's quite a challenge if you get just one bad draw. You find yourself with 3 wins, 4 wins, thinking, ooh, this could be the one. You just get the worst draw of your life. Or your opponent just gets one slightly better than you. I wanted to talk about the deck that I used to win 5 consecutive battles in a row on my first 5 battles. And it's a Starmie EX Articuno EX deck. Yay, I bet you were all expecting EXs, weren't you? Woo! Now, of course, you know, generally speaking, if you want to consistently smash your opponents and do really well in events like this, you have to use the strongest cards available to you, which is going to be the deck that I kind of called the Starticuno deck. Now stick around to the end because I do have a free-to-play friendly deck recommendation for you as well. You've probably seen it before, maybe. I've even played against it a few times, so, you know, it's made its way around a little bit. But it's going to be 2 Staryu, 2 Starmie EXs, 2 Articuno EX, 1 Farfetch, 2 Misty, 2 Professor Research, 2 Sabrina, 2 Pokeball, 2 Potion, 1 Red Card, X-Speed, and Helix Fossil. Now, the Staryu and Starmie EX are just really strong on their own. They're good in just any deck you could do. You want to do Starmie EX with Greninja? Do it. You want to do it with Lapras? Do it. You want to do it with the... I've seen people use the Gyarados, you know, hoping that the Misties can build up your Gyarados while the Starmie EX is frontlining, kind of. Starmie EX is just a really good card. It has 130 HP. It only needs 2 energies to do 90 damage. It's better than the Pikachu EX because it doesn't need the bench Pokemon built up. It just does 90. It's really good. It has 10 more HP than Pikachu. The only difference is that it's weak to the Pikachu. So Pikachu beats it. Except not actually. Because even if you use Giovanni on the Pikachu, it's only 120 damage against the Starmie. I mean, it's still going to live through this. A Blaine Ninetales can't KO it in one hit. Your Arcanine EX can't kill it in one hit, which I know is super meta right now. So it's just an excellent 130 HP breakpoint. It just passes a lot of good breakpoints. Now the Articuno EX is in here as just kind of backup to the Starmie EX, really. Starmie EX is your main player in this deck. Articuno is here just in case, maybe you start with it, maybe it's on your bench. The Misties will help power it up. That 80 damage and then 10 to the whole bench is super good. It's just a really nice backup. And that's not even to mention that some of the most meta decks right now that you run into are all the Moltres ones. It's always the fire decks. You're seeing Charizard, the Arcanine's really big right now, especially the Arcazard deck, super huge right now. Also a really good one if you want to run that deck. You could easily win 5 in a row with that one too. So the Articuno just being strong against those other meta decks that you see a lot, very, very good to have. Now the Farfetch is here kind of specifically for your first turn. It's so good if you get it on your first turn and you're going second. That's really what you're aiming for here. That's why I only put 1 in the deck. It's just there for that very specific scenario. If you can get it out, it's 60 HP, 1 energy, it does 40 damage. It puts a lot of pressure on. It's kind of an homage to the, you know, funny to say early days of, you know, Pokemon TCG Pocket, but in the early access, Farfetch was everywhere. He's just very, very good first turn. And I feel like a lot of people have gotten away from him, but I still think he's really, really good in specific scenarios. Maybe I wouldn't play him against, you know, the electric Pikachu deck or anything like that. But other than that, I think he's very good and worth having at least 1. So Misty's in the deck for the obvious reason. You want to flip the coins, get the heads. Maybe you get 2, 3, 4. Maybe you get 1. Maybe you get none. Not a super big deal if you have your Starmies out because they only need 2 energy. On your second turn, you could have the Starmie EX ready to go, especially if you get first energy. That's so good for this deck. But it's not hampered by it because maybe Misty gets you 1 heads on your first turn and allows you to attack. So that's what Misty's really, really good for. Research, obvious, you know, you got to get those draw power going on. Sabrina is here, obviously, to toy with your opponent's bench. Swap them around when they think they're safe. You pull out somebody that maybe took some damage already or just someone they weren't ready to give up because they haven't fully powered it up yet. Pokeball for the draw, Potion for some sustain. Now, the 1 of the red card, X-Speed, and Helix Fossil maybe looks weird. Maybe it doesn't. Red card is really just in there in case you go against some of those tougher guys like the Mewtwo that need a lot of cards to power it up and you don't want... Maybe you want to slow it down 1 or 2 turns. It'll help you out. The X-Speed, you only need 1 in this deck, maybe even none, but I like to use 1 just in case you kind of have that awkward, sloppy first opening hand. Like maybe you got the Star You out, you don't have Star Me for a couple turns, you don't want to discard your energy on it, so you would rather X speed, swap your Articuno in, maybe Misty it, however it works for you. Maybe get that Farfetch'd out of there if you don't want to get rid of the energy on it. It's just kind of nice to have the one. I don't think it needs two. The Starmie EX has a free retreat cost, so you definitely don't want to, you know, stack your deck with two of these when you won't even be using it half the time. And then the Helix Fossil is just for the Helix, you know, the fossil tech. In case somebody Sabrina's you can throw the fossil out there. It doesn't get drawn out with the Pokeballs. You can get rid of it at any point. If it's still safely on your side, you can just dispose of it, and it, you know, doesn't give your opponent any points or anything. So it's just kind of nice for that. Obviously be careful, because if it goes out and your opponent KOs it, then it does give them a point. So obviously careful of that. This is just a super strong deck. I won 5 games in a row immediately upon starting the game up, you know, today. And it's so good. It's so strong. If you have these cards, I highly recommend trying it out. If you don't have all of them, maybe you only have some of them. Maybe you have one Articuno, you have one Starmie EX. Give it a shot. You know, fill it in. Use the regular Starmie as your secondary Starmie. Maybe try Kangaskhan or something in here just for some frontline for a few turns while you build up the bench. Kangaskhan would be great pairing up with the Articuno. Just try that out. Now, of course, I have one more deck to talk to you about, because you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, it's easy for whales to say because they spend all this money and they have every card in the game and they can do whatever deck they want. True. However, I also have a free-to-play account, and I beat this event on my other account. And this is the deck that I used to do that. That's right, it's the really quick and aggro Blaine deck. Now, I have a slightly modified version of it that I like to use. I don't like the Blaine deck that the game suggests. I'm not a big fan of the Magmars. He's too slow, the retreat cost is too high. So I like to use the Kangaskhan instead. I think just one Kangaskhan is super good. Now it's your 2 Ponyta, 2 Rapidash, 2 Vulpix, 2 Ninetales, 1 Kangaskhan, 2 Potion, 2 X-Speed, 2 Pokeball, 2 Research, 2 Blaine, and 1 Sabrina. Now this deck, you're kind of hoping maybe you start with the Ponyta Rapidash, because if you get him in your starting hand on your second turn, if you go first, you can evolve it. You can be pumping out 40 damage. Blaine can be sneaky, do 70 damage, can really help. That can take out some basic guys before they even evolve, which will really help you ramp up and get going. And then when your Ninetales comes in kind of as your sweeper, maybe your Blaine on there, you know, instead of doing your 90 damage, you do 120. If you're going against grass decks, you're doing 140. It's pretty powerful. Kangaskhan is just in case you get him in your opening hand. He's super helpful to just kind of wall for a while. Maybe you'll do 60, maybe you'll do 30. I just really like the Kangaskhan. It helps a lot. This is the deck that I used on my free-to-play account to get the 5 consecutive wins. It didn't take me very long at all. I think it was my third attempt at it or whatever. You know, it was pretty easy going. I actually ran into a couple of Blaine decks too, by the way. So other people are using them. They have a little bit different versions of it, but this is the one that I ran. It worked really well. I like it a lot. So give this one a try if you guys are more free to play, if you have it. If you guys don't have it, then try out the Wheezing Arbok deck. That one's really good. I used that one for a little bit. I got, not that it mattered for anything, but I did get 5 consecutive wins with it earlier today, just outside of the event, you know, so maybe you'll get it lucky in the event with it. Now, to all of you out there who are still going after these 5 wins, try one of these 2 decks if you have them available. If not, there's slight variations that you can build on the deck. Try and get as close as possible. It's very powerful. If you only have 1 Starmie EX, you can still do it. It's on my free-to-play account. I don't have any Starmie EXs, you know, I had to use the Blaine deck, and that one got me through very well. But keep at it, don't give up. There's still plenty of time left. Best of luck to all of you. I'll see you all out there. Ciao.